I'm Matt Miller from the Google Teacher Podcast, a part of the Education Podcast Network, just like the show you're listening to now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting education podcasts at edupodcastnetwork.com.
Coming up on the 5th bonus episode of the House of EdTech podcast for ISTE 2020, I talk with Stephanie Howell, who is crushing ISTE 2020. She is in so many sessions, and she's going to share with us how she is taking community notes. So listen for that. And we are joined by a special surprise guest, Matt Miller from Ditch That Textbook, the Google Teacher Podcast, and so many more. And we have a fun conversation about conference swag. Enjoy this conversation, and I will see you again tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern on chrisnessy.com/live for another installment of the ISTE Daily Recap Live Show. Enjoy. Welcome to the House of EdTech podcast. I am your host, Chris Nesi. The House of EdTech explores how technology is changing the way teachers teach and the impact that technology is having in education. I discuss technology that is changing our classrooms and schools, and I share tools and tips that you can hear today and use tomorrow. You're going to hear the stories of teachers, leaders, and creators just like you. The purpose? Whether you use it or not, technology is changing the way you teach and how your students learn. And good evening, everybody. It is 10 p.m. It is Thursday, December 3rd, 2020, and you are tuned in live for another House of EdTech ISTE Daily Recap. If you're new to what I do, welcome. If you're a returning watcher and listener, welcome back. Very excited to be doing this for day 5. Love doing the live stream thing. It's not something I do too often, but it is a lot of fun. Very exciting. If you want to hop aboard, the number to call in is chrisnessy.com/join. And I've already got a line of people, which is good to see. But before I bring on a caller, let's take a look at the chat. The chat was bumping here before I even clicked go live. Teachers on Fire is here. What's up, Tim? Tim Cavey in the house. I don't want to spoil it, but Stephanie Howell is here and she's waiting on line 1. We will bring Stephanie on in just a second. We've got Mel A. What is up, Mel A? Oh, you were paid to be here. I don't sell tickets, so you got scammed. Let's see. Who else is here? Dominic, hello. How you doing? Aaron. Ooh, there's popcorn? I need some popcorn. Steph, I hope you brought popcorn. What else? Sharo. Hello. So many comments. All right, I will work to keep up with comments. Let's get to the good stuff. And the good stuff is like the perfect ISTE attendee ever, because she is racking up points like Michael Jordan, home runs like Babe Ruth. She is crushing this conference, and she joins us now, the Stephanie Howell. Good evening, Stephanie.
Good evening. I'm like, I don't even know what time of day it is. I'm so tired, Chris.
You must be tired, because I don't know when you're racking up all these points and being a mom and doing your job. So it's whatever time of day you want it to be. That's the beauty of podcasts.
Yes, it is. And no one will know because they're listening at whatever time they're listening.
That's right. It's time shifted. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I don't care when you listen. I just want you to listen.
Definitely.
So how's ISTE going for you?
ISTE has been a lot of fun. I was honestly nervous with the online platform. Just because this will be my 3rd ISTE. So the last 2 have been in person, and I just love the connections. I mean, we met at the last ISTE at the podcast. It was a
blast. It was the first time.
Yeah. And it was so much fun. And like meeting Scott and everybody like that. And I was really worried about the connections, but I was able to make connections at ISTE, which I didn't think was going to happen.
You know why I think the connections have worked this year is because you figure a majority of the people attending ISTE, they're on Twitter, they're on Instagram, they are the quote unquote connected educators. So we already understand what it means to talk in a chat room, share links, engage like people are doing. And it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, I agree. And I think having that chat feature built into the ISTE platform for the sessions has helped. Just like right now, I mean, the chat's blowing up. I don't even know what people are saying. I can't multitask right now. But it's really cool just to connect with people, and people are sharing links. It's just like Twitter, only inside of the ISTE platform. And it's been fun. It
has been a blast. And I do want to echo your sentiment about the in-chat feature during the different sessions. For example, I had mentioned today on Twitter that I attended a podcast session by the guys from Check This Out, Ryan and Brian, two great education podcasters, and they were presenting, but I was also in their session. So I was also kind of talking with people in the chat live, and I was kind of like I don't want to say presenting because I wasn't presenting, but sort of monitoring the chat and answering people's questions because they were doing their thing on the presentation stream. But it's tough to do this and talk to people, make eye contact, look at the people on the screen, look at the chat, and be able to click on buttons and say things come up. Hey, Abid Patel, what's up? Hey, everyone. So
he's actually from London, so he should be asleep. It's like, what, 5 a.m. there, Abid?
He can wake up. Many people have said, especially my wife, I have a good voice to wake up to.
I'm a little upset at Abid, though. He ditched me.
How so?
He is not at ISTE, and we won the People's Choice Award, like first place, and he's not even here to celebrate with me. Like we didn't even get to do our session because he's not here.
Will that roll over to 2021, or you gotta try and win it again? I think
we gotta redo it, and you know how much work that is.
That's why I do this, and I don't try to get into that.
Yeah.
So what type of sessions have you tried to engage in? What learning have you done? And actually, you know what, real quick, I've been a bad host. Real quick, for people who don't know you, who are listening, and you've been on the House of EdTech before, but there might be people who are like, who is this? So just 30 seconds. Who is Stephanie Howell?
So I'm Stephanie Howell. I'm an instructional technology coordinator in Pickerington, Ohio. I'm trying to think what else. The podcast that I did with Chris is I'm a Google Innovator. So if you want to know more about that, you can go back to that episode. I don't remember the number because he has so many different podcasts, but it was like 2 years ago. Yeah, that's me.
You forgot something that's very important.
What did I forget?
You are also a podcaster yourself.
Yes, I am a podcaster myself on Get Inspired and Innovate with Lance Key. I'm sure Lance is not on right now.
That's okay. You are repping the podcast.
Yep. So we try to do an episode every week. Our editor's a little behind. So it's been like every 2 weeks.
That's okay. If I've learned nothing, there's no right way to podcast, just best practices. So you're making content, and that content is making a difference for people who listen, myself included. And that's all that counts. You're building your audience. People come to that content. Don't stress out about when it comes out.
Sorry, Mel's comment about your voice is cracking me up.
Is she making fun of me?
No, she just said that you have a lovely voice.
Why, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mel, you're welcome to go to chrisnessy.com/join, and I will talk directly to you. I mean, I'm doing it right now, but then you could talk back, and this is a party.
You need to join. She needs to join.
Everybody's welcome to join and share in the ISTE learning. But I was in trying to be rude and get you not be rude and get you introduced. Now I've sidetracked you. So back to the original question. How has ISTE gone for you so far? What are you learning? What value are you getting?
So I've gone to a couple sketchnoting sessions because I didn't think of myself as a sketchnoter, but I think I might try to get into that. It's been really exciting just to see what tiny different shapes you can create. So those have been really fun. I went to one by Jen Giffen, who is amazing. And then I went to a couple Google sessions, of course. The Google Playground was today, so I went to a lot of those different sessions. Tony Vincent had a really good session on Google Drawings. So I'm going to probably steal a lot of his templates.
Nice. I've heard Tony on, I think he was on, was it Casey Bell's podcast, or maybe it was Jake Miller's, where he was the featured guest and talked all about, his website and what he gets his students to do with Google Drawings and, with the website and the branding with his elementary school students. And, we don't need to say Tony's fantastic. We know Tony's fantastic. So he just keeps bringing it.
Yeah. So rewatch that one if you haven't seen it, because I learned more and more every time he talks. I'm like, oh, I've already seen Tony. No, there's more to learn.
There is always more to learn, especially from good people like Tony.
Yeah.
Now, did you do any, you said you had won the People's Choice thing, but did you do any poster session? Did you do any presenting this time around?
Yeah. I did a session on the Google Innovator Journey with a couple of my other Sydney 19 cohort friends. And so we did that yesterday. It was a lot of fun. We just kind of talked and answered questions through the chat. So I wasn't sure how that was supposed to run because of in-person compared to online, but I actually like the poster sessions a lot better online. I felt like there's more that you can look at. You can not feel like there's so many people around and all these conversations, so you're able to focus in. And then I was on an EdTech coaches panel. And that was, I think, Tuesday. So that was a lot of fun too. But I was on a Google versus Microsoft panel too. So I'm all done for the week.
Nice. So in addition to the poster session and the sessions you've attended, as I alluded to at the beginning of the conversation, you're also the leader in the gamified ISTE conference. So what are you doing? How are you racking up all these points, and what do you hope to get out of that?
I'm very competitive, very competitive. And so when I go to these conferences and there's a game, I have to ask myself, do I want to commit? Because once I start, I can't stop. So I was like, all right, I'll just do it, because who knows what will happen out of it. And it's been a lot of fun. There's different eggs around the conference center. So I do have multiple tabs open. I'm watching the session, and then I'm also searching for these eggs. I have a couple friends, I think they're here in the chat, that have been kind of my egg friends. Aaron's one of them. And we just have a chat, and then we hop on a video call and we're like, there's an egg here. We actually just created a spreadsheet too. So it's getting serious, Chris.
Competition is serious.
Yeah. And then you can fill out different evaluations. Because I'm on the East Coast, I'm up ready to learn when everybody else is sleeping. So I've been going to a lot of the vendor sessions for points, because those will get you some points. I'm trying to think what else. There's the social butterfly. So just starting a chat with somebody can give you points. You can get points for live demos. I attended on the weekend, so I got those points. Live sessions, the amount of time that you spend in them, which I feel like I'm just constantly on. I kind of told my husband, I was like, I would be gone this week in a hotel and you wouldn't have me. So you need to take care of our kid. So he's been taking care of AJ this past week, which has been really nice. So I can kind of be more competitive. I mean, I usually go to bed at 9. And I've been staying up until 11 just working on stuff.
I'm not as lucky. I mean, I'm teaching from home, as people may know, and my kids are home all day. So I'm teaching all day. The kids are home. And then my wife gets home from her school and she's like, all right, get off the computer. So that's why I'm doing these live streams partly at 10 o'clock at night. Everybody's fast asleep.
Yeah. No, I was like, I would be at a hotel anyway, I wouldn't be here. So give me 1 week.
Nice. Now, you did mention your son, AJ, you said his name is?
Yes.
Now, the last time I saw you, he had not arrived because this was last summer. So congratulations, Mommy.
Thank you.
What's it like being a new mom and educator? How's that all working for you?
It's going pretty well. He sleeps really well, so that helps. I think if he didn't, I'd be exhausted all the time. But he's a really good baby, and he's walking right now, and he's 1. which is crazy. But yeah, he's at a good age where he's getting into everything, and I've really learned to balance because I was a workaholic. I still am. But you really do have to learn once you're at home that you need to put things away and focus on him. So I've been trying to do that. Some days it's worse than others, but trying.
He will keep you on your toes for sure.
Yes.
Especially now that he's moving. A lot, it sounds like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's moving a ton.
Yeah, because before, I mean, they pretty much go from walking to driving. I mean, it's going to, like that, it'll be, you know, that's how time works.
Yeah.
So how else has the week gone? Anything surprise you, disappoint you? Your hot takes.
The platform is kind of a disappointment.
Still, or do you think it's gotten better?
I feel like they're making changes. I was on a chat with an ISTE person earlier today, and she was like, okay, you said this was a problem and we're trying to fix it. So can you give me more details? And I thought that was awesome. I love people that are trying to work out the funks. I feel really bad for the presenters that are having issues with their screen sharing, audio, because I know as a presenter, that stinks. And when you're trying to present and you can't show your screen, you can't hear, you can't talk, whatever, it makes things really difficult to present. And then it just kind of throws you off. So I feel really bad for those folks.
Really quick, since you did the poster session, I imagine you had to use the presentation platform. Is it a platform that any of us would have heard of, or is it something that's brand new that they've designed custom for this? Or what are you guys using?
It's brand new. I've never heard of it. For my panel, they use ShowFlow. I don't know about that. And that ran really smoothly. The only thing that was kind of a pain was the chat for the panel was on a different platform. So I had 2 tabs, 2 desktops up and monitors, and I was just kind of like following along because I think it's really important to engage with the chat, especially for a panel. So I had 2 different screens and trying to navigate that. But they are working to fix it, and they're working to fix it pretty quickly, especially like with the leaderboard. Cause again, I'm very competitive. I was like, my points are adding up and I'm in 5th place right now when I've done all of this stuff and nothing is changing. And then today I log in and it was like 16,000. And I was like, finally, like all my hard work is there, because I need that, instant gratification to be like, okay, what I'm doing is working. And as I'm like on day 2 of this game, again, I don't stop once I start. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Like I'm not seeing the points add up, but I just emailed the help desk and I said, I think I have more points than I should. And they quickly looked into it and fixed it. So they are making improvements. So I'm willing to work with people that are willing to listen to feedback and do something with it.
Yeah, that's the true definition of an educator, I think. Those who will listen, take feedback, modify, adjust, and kind of go with the flow. I was also impressed that, and I think I mentioned this either last night or the night before. Again, these are all starting to run together at this point, how they are making these updates as we're going and, seeing the different chat room categories kind of pop up. That has been really nice to see. So, I mean, so far, my experience, my interaction with it, I haven't run into any of those issues, obviously not being a presenter, but, trying to chat with people, trying to attend some of these sessions. I think it's worked out pretty good. One thing that does disappoint me is when you go into the session and there's no resources. Mm-hmm. And you would think that, all right, get your resources, have the digital tool bag stuff, and to see that there are sessions where there's not that extra material, those supplemental resources, that's kind of disappointing. So
yeah, and I think too, like in person, I didn't use that digital tote. I didn't
carry around a real bag.
Yeah, I didn't even have my computer out. I have my phone and I'm taking screenshots of the Bitly links and I look at the resources when I come back. And so I've never attended this many sessions at ISTE ever, because normally I run to one end of the conference hall. The session's full. What am I going to do? I'm going to go to the vendor hall because I need a new t-shirt. And then you're either waiting in line to get into a really good session, like Matt Miller's sessions, they fill up, Casey Bill's, they fill up. So if you want to see any of those type of people, you have to go the session before to wait in line. And so I have attended more sessions than I ever have in the past. And I'm probably, in the vendor hall or talking to somebody or walking 20,000 steps, where here I'm just sitting at my computer, hop into the next.
Now it's 20,000 clicks.
Yeah. My finger's getting the workout.
Now you mentioned, you kind of hinted at it, that when you attend physically, you'll use your phone, you'll take pictures, you'll collect the links, and then you'll kind of sift through that material later. But this year, you started an initiative to have a lot of people collaborate on community note-taking. So could you talk a little bit about that and certainly promote it, because you're collecting a lot of good stuff and a lot of people are helping you do it?
Yeah. So I've been at different conferences and I've used Google Sheets for like a collaborative note-taking thing. And it worked out really well. Like people would add to it. They would add the links. They would add notes, Google Docs, whatever, to this. And I thought for ISTE, it needed something different. And I have a friend, her name's Rhonda, and she's from Dublin, Ohio. And she was at a conference and she was taking notes on a Google site. And I looked over and I was like, what are you doing? Like, that is genius. Like, I've never even thought about it. I've seen people use Google Slides. I've seen people use like all these different things. And so I was like, hey, can I collaborate with you on that? And I was like, I promise I will follow all of your template style. I will follow your norms. I will do all of that. And she let me into her Google site. And so she didn't give a whole lot of people access. So I was a little nervous when it came to ISTE. There's currently over 200 people on this Google site. So hopefully nothing gets deleted. I don't know what's going to happen. But everyone has just been adding, and I'll put the link in the private chat on the StreamYard so you can add it if you want to your show notes or in the YouTube chat. But feel free, if you want to join as a collaborator, you can. If not, you can just view the website as is. And on here, there's different categories. There's norms, because I learned from her, you've got to have some type of norm if you're going to have 200 people on the same document. And all you have to do, there's like a template. You just have to duplicate that template, and then you're able to write your notes. You can provide screenshots. You can embed if you have a Wakelet. If you have a Google Doc where you're taking notes, you can embed whatever you're doing on the Google site. So I love using Google Sites. I think I'm going to keep up with this, because on the Google Sheet, it would get way too messy. And then you have like multiple lines with the same resources when it could have been just all on one page on a Google site. And so I think I'm going to try to keep up with this for other conferences. And it's nice because I think they said ISTE has like over 800 sessions, and we can't attend all those.
Nope.
So,
and there's over 10,000 people as well.
Yeah. So if you want to view a session maybe, and maybe you want to look at the resources before you go to it, you could do that, that kind of stuff. Maybe you go back to your school building and you want to share something with others. All the resources will be there. And what's really cool is some people have like double done the same notes, but it's really cool to watch how different people take notes. And so I've been trying to put them close together so that you can click real quickly to see what is happening and how those people are taking notes, because everybody takes notes differently. And I was in a sketch note session today, and I'm like, I need sketch noters. Like, how cool would it be to add those sketch notes onto these Google sites, because everybody takes notes differently, and just to see how everyone's brain works could be really cool. And then also on the website, there's a selfie. So Abid, I don't know if he's still on or if he went to bed, but Abid is the selfie king. He takes selfies everywhere. And so at last bet, he took 1 million selfies and he sent them to our group message. And it was kind of annoying, So to get Abid back, what I decided is we're not in person. So Luis, my friend, he created this Google Sheet that you're able to put your Bitmoji in. And on the Bitmoji, you get paired up with a friend. And so you can pick any friend on the spreadsheet and you can have your digital selfie with that person. So thank you for Luis for doing that. Yeah, I think it's like down. I know you're showing the site. It's kind of like down in the middle. Yep, right there, the blue area. So then you're able to post your selfie onto Twitter or wherever you want to post it. Because I feel like ISTE, like when I would get on Twitter, all you would do is see all these different selfies of like people with everybody. And that was kind of missing. So on, I think day 3, I was like, I miss these selfies. So yeah, Chris, you need to put yours on the spreadsheet so we can be Bitmoji friends.
I would love to do that. That sounds fantastic. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, Steph.
Yeah.
You know, earlier you mentioned that, you know, like Matt Miller sessions are very popular at ISTE and Casey Bells are very popular at ISTE. If you could only attend one session, would you prefer a Matt Miller session or a Casey Bell session? And let us know in the chat too. Who would you prefer?
I'm sure they're going to listen, so I don't know. Yeah, probably Matt
They don't
Miller.
have time for House of Ed Tech. They're busy with the Google podcast, and don't worry about that. Don't worry.
Yeah, my answer is, yeah, definitely Matt Miller.
Definitely Matt Miller?
Oh, yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, good, because here's Matt Miller.
Yes, that was the right answer.
And Matt Miller is not at ISTE.
That's true. That's true. But I'm here.
You are here.
So at least there's that. Hey, Steph.
How are you, Matt?
Hi, Chris. I'm good.
What's up, Matt?
Yeah,
How you doing?
I was just talking about, who was I talking to about? Oh, Lance Key, you're going to present at his conference in August. And I was like, Matt Miller is the most down-to-earth person you will ever meet. And he is just so kind. So I appreciate your kindness. I don't know Casey on a personal level. I'm sure she's kind.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt's the best.
You are too sweet. Thank you so much. That's a good one.
And then I feel like Casey's going to pop up next and it's going to be like Grumpy Cat.
No, I won't. No. I set you up because I saw Matt waiting.
Yeah, I popped in. That's right. See, the scary thing about me joining is that Chris has a whole bunch of buttons with my voice on them from the podcast. So who knows when those will show up. So.
And it looks like the chat picked you too. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, in the chat, I'm seeing some familiar faces here. There's Sharo Dickerson, who I think I saw at TCEA last, and there's Batsheva, who was in the Soundtrap Summit I just put on. Good to see, and Tim Needles too. Wow, nice. There's AJ Bianco. Wow, there's you all bring it in this group. This is awesome. Hey, it's good to see everybody in this chat. This is awesome.
Yeah. So, Matt, what's going on? How you been? What's good?
Good, man. Good. There's all sorts of this virtual professional development going on, and ISTE's kind of like the big dog in the house, so you can't avoid it. There's been some amazing stuff coming through on Twitter that I've seen. Really good keynotes, and they definitely are bringing the fire this year. But
Stephanie alluded to, so you're not participating?
Yeah. Not this year anyway. It was, it's tough because, you go, it's like everybody,
this is all I'm doing.
Yeah. No, it's like everybody that, you go in person and it's like, you kind of get used to one thing. And I don't know. I'll continue to do ISTE type stuff in the future, I'm sure. But this year ended up being super crazy. Have you heard that there's like a pandemic and lots of schools are doing remote learning? And
say what?
I don't know. Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of kept some of us like extra super busy with projects and stuff. So anyway, I don't want to make excuses or anything, but no, there's been some fantastic stuff coming through on Twitter and on this show and everything. And so, that's the beautiful thing about ISTE. No matter when it is, no matter how it is that people show up and they share great stuff. And, you don't even have to, you can be not at ISTE and still get, that's how I got into it. The first couple of years, 2013, 2014, I was not at ISTE and I got a lot out of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kind of speechless. That doesn't happen too often.
And there's not a whole lot of vendors at ISTE. which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, that's true. That is one big part of the experience is walking the like bigger than a football field size vendor hall. And I would imagine it's got to be tough for them to like, figure out how to make it worth their while and how to engage people and stuff. But some people are really creative with it and, they still come up with really good stuff. So, So
I saw that one way that they're able to do that through the platform. And this might even be the reason why they adjusted the chat, where they came up with the different chat categories of types of conversations. And I think they have one called promotions where,
oh, nice.
Good place for vendors to go and put links and try to solicit people. I'm personally at in-person conferences. I hate the vendor floor because I'm a teacher. I don't have any money. I don't make those decisions. So I'm not ever interested in having those conversations.
But you can get pins and stickers and lanyards and the occasional t-shirt if you're willing to do 14 different activities for them to and give away your email address.
That is true.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So ISTE 2021 for Matt Miller. You heard it here first.
There you go. Nice. Yes, absolutely. See, Shannon Moore's going, I love the vendor floor for the swag. I tell you what, I am like loaded down with all sorts of conference swag. I'm curious to see if anybody's willing to share in the comments, what is your number one go-to vendor floor swag at a teacher conference? Like, what is the thing? Like, what about you guys?
Question.
That is a good question. I usually go to the people I know because then they don't sell me. So like Ed Puzzle and the like companies we've used for years. And I'm just like, hey. And then they're usually like, do you want a shirt? Because they're like hiding them.
Yeah. Yeah, that is like the thing that you don't realize if you don't work with vendors or if you don't know anything about them is that they're very protective of the good stuff. They know what the like garden variety swag is and they know what the premium things are and they hold the premium things back. And if you can wiggle your way into it, sometimes you get the good stuff. So it looks like Batsheva says she loved pins and Shannon too. Sorry, Chris.
No, I was just say stickers I love, but like, so you mentioned like the good stuff. So like, I have these House of Ed Tech enamel pins that I got from Sticker Mule that I've never given out. Yeah. So, I mean, if you entice me with a good comment, maybe I'll reach out to you after the fact and send you a pin. So you can get stuff here on House of Ed Tech. I got podcast PD stickers. But for me, t-shirts, I love a good t-shirt.
Yeah. I've got a couple of my best swag things like right behind me here. So if I can do a little show and tell, I did some stuff with TechSmith at one point several years ago, and they had titanium sporks.
Ooh.
What?
Right? Yeah. And then the next year they didn't have titanium sporks. You want to know what they had? Let me show you what they had. They had titanium chopsticks. I never use them, but I like keep them close to my desk. I don't know, in case like, somebody shows up with some sweet and sour chicken that I've got to eat or something. Like they almost look like little pool cues and they unscrew like a little pool cue does. So that's some of the best. Awesome. I got a, kind of like a metal reusable straw from Microsoft that was kind of cool that I never used.
I have one too.
Oh, really? Yeah. So that was good. I am like Matt, everybody.
It sounds like you could do a giveaway of stuff you don't use that you've just collected.
Yeah, that's right. It'd be like I'd be doing like a garage sale, like.
And that's what I do at ISTE. Like I go to ISTE and I get all these pins and all this stuff, and then I raffle them off throughout the year. Oh, who had my email this week? You get a pen. Like all this stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do this year. Right. I don't have money to spend on stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's the pandemic, though. They're listening to me because of COVID, and so I don't think I need anything this year.
There you go. That's right. Did I just see that Cam Ross is in the house from Melbourne? Excuse me.
Yes.
Good morning, Cam. Good to he's messaging in from the future.
That's what I love about technology. We are global. I love this.
That's right. Oh, and then Batsheva just said in the comments, she says, best swag that you have. I've got to go show it to you. I'm going to go grab it real quick. I'll be right back.
All right.
Oh, can we guess what it might be? What do you think?
I don't know. Now, is it swag of his own? Because Matt gives out good stuff with the Ditch brand. I'm going to guess that it's.
Oh.
It's my overthrowing education coffee mug that she sent me. Yep, sits right over there in my office. So, yeah. Oh, my goodness. There was a pen with a Viagra pill inside. For real? I almost said that's amazing. I don't know if that's amazing, but it's definitely something. It's maybe even a little disturbing.
If your partner was here, it would be super exciting.
Oh my goodness.
Every once in a while I get a good one.
Yeah, that's right. I'll tell you another one that's really good that I've gotten is like Meraki was giving these away at one point. These are like the 3-in-1 USB cords. You know, the ones that have,
those are big time.
Yeah, I have a Pixel, so we run off of the USB Type C, and then you got the the Lightning, and then the micro USB. Those are the most helpful ones, I think, are the ones that have that combination. So I keep that one close at hand as well.
Nice. I got one at ISTE last year, and it's a key chain, so I leave it on there, and it's got all the multiple. So if anyone's like, "I need a charger," I'm like, "Which one?" Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I got one of those too. Mine was orange, and it's got a little protector thing on the USB. Oh my goodness, AJ Bianco, break in case of emergency.
Now, Matt, since we're talking about swag, and you showed us a lot of stuff that other companies give out.
Yeah,
you are an educator, businessman. You've got the Ditch brand. Mm-hmm. What are some things that maybe you consider when you try to come up with stuff that you want to give away to represent you and Ditch?
Yeah. Well, I always go big on stickers just because those are sort of like a high interest, low cost thing. But yeah, that's definitely stickers are a big thing. I'm big into buttons too. Like I've got a whole bunch of those little 1-inch buttons. I've got yellow ones with the trash can on them, to kind of go along with the brand and everything. But I'm kind of like with you, Chris. You said that you got those enamel buttons from Sticker Mule. Whenever Sticker Mule runs a deal, I basically almost always just buy it. Like a lot of times I will just
and you use 4 email addresses so you can get the deal 4 times, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a pretty smart idea. I've never actually thought of doing that, but I certainly should. But like I've got a whole bunch of roll labels that I put on, whenever I send books to people and stuff. But a handful of things I've done, like one time I splurged and I went big and I made coffee mugs. Now that was like a not very often type of thing. But the coffee mugs, yeah, every once in a great while. And I've done keychains, I've done different kinds of pins and stuff. Those are the things that I usually stick to. I've done notebooks a couple of times too. Those are kind of high interest. And so, yeah, that's kind of my goal, is to try to get something that I think people will like that isn't going to break me,
or break when you give it to them.
Yes, that too. Yeah. Speaking of mugs, I have had a couple of them that were like dead on arrival. It's hard to ship mugs, to make sure that they get there and they're safe. So, yeah, those handles do not hold up well in the mail.
There's a couple of people in the chat that want a mug.
See, this is the hard thing, is that I want to please everybody, and I start talking about things and everybody's like, "Oh, can I have one of those? You got any more of those? Can I get one of those?" I would love to give all of you mugs. The problem with the mugs is that this run of mugs, I am down to like my last 2, and one of them keeps my swag and junk and cords in it, and another one I actually drink coffee from. So I'd have a hard time parting with one of those.
But you can get a lot more because it's a Matt Miller used mug.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, let's definitely put that up on for auction. And you know what? I'll even leave some coffee grounds and some like dried up coffee in the bottom of it.
Hey, you know that there are teachers out there that you are the Spock to their Sheldon Cooper, Yeah,
I don't know about that. Dirty coffee mugs. That's like, yeah. So Matt, man, everybody's going nuts about stickers in the chat over here. Sorry, Chris.
No, I was gonna say, so you said you have some other projects that you're working on. I know you're starting to, it's December. Don't you have a wintertime Ditch Summit approaching?
I do. Yes. Thank you for asking, actually. Yeah. So, in case everybody's interested in checking it out, it's the Ditch That Textbook Digital Summit. If given permission by the host, I will do a quick little screen share.
Absolutely. And if you tell us the link, I will put it in the chat and people can click on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's super simple. It's just ditchsummit.com. And so, Shannon's already saying, so excited. My first Ditch Summit ever. Awesome. Very good. So this is basically what it is. Like it says right there, a 4-week teacher PD party, all online on your couch or, wherever you want to sit. So it's a free online conference for teachers. I've been doing it for 5 years. Each year we do about 9 new video presentations. So you can watch them. They're all recorded. So they're, it's not like you have to show up live or anything. And so you can go watch any of these videos and then you can download free notes and you can generate a certificate of completion for professional development credit. And all of that is for free. I know sometimes people do summits and it's like buy lifetime access for $49 or $79 or something. And I'm like, nah. You guys already spend enough stuff on your classroom and on other stuff out of your pocket, or we're not going to do that. So I keep it open. I'm going to keep it open this year for 4 weeks. It's usually been like a 2.5-ish week thing, but I wanted to catch the beginning of people's winter break, and I wanted to catch the end of people's winter break. And we've got really, really good speakers this year. Like, for instance, I just did a interview with Dee Lanier, who has the Solve in Time project that he does that's all about problem solving in class. We've got Nicole Taylor and Desiree Alexander are kind of talking about like remote learning type of stuff. If you've ever used Slides Mania templates in your classroom before, those are fantastic. Paula Martinez from Slides Mania is going to be one of the guests. So you get to actually meet the brains and the brilliance behind Slides Mania if you want to go check it out. So, So anyway, we've got really, really good. Actually, I can show you. Here they are. I just got done with Lindsay Portnoy today, and that was fantastic. She's talking about the power of play and games and how it impacts our learning in such positive ways and what cognitive science has to say about that. So, Maria is going to be talking about Jamboard. Esther's going to be talking about, amazing creative googly things. Nairi is going to talk about culturally responsive teaching. I'm going to talk some stuff about Google Classroom. So yeah, really, really good. Really good stuff. So if anybody wants to check it out, it is in the comments, ditchsummit.com. You can go register. And we're going to be doing a bunch of prize giveaways too. So it should be a lot of fun.
Will those be Ditch That Textbook chopsticks?
I will probably have to look into some chopsticks. Yeah. I don't know if I can like pony up for the titanium ones, but maybe I could do something, or I could do like little swizzle sticks, like this one from Southwest Airlines with the little heart on it. Like get like a trash can on the end of it or something. I don't know.
I would go to my local Chinese food place and just put my stickers on the chopstick package.
I think that's pretty smart, Chris. I like it. That's good.
Jokes and ideas. Every once in a while, I get one.
Yeah. There you go.
Ah, nice. So AJ said he's going to send it out to his staff. So again, hey,
yes, AJ, thank you.
Who are
district
you
administrator or teacher? Just send it out. Sorry, Steph, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Who are you most excited to talk to this year?
Oh, well, that's kind of like choosing between your children. That's kind of unfair.
Well,
but
Chris made me choose.
What was that? Sorry.
Chris made me choose.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And then they're going to pop onto the screen. And if I pick wrong, it'll be like sad face or angry face or something like that. Oh, gosh. No, I don't know. I will say this, though. Several of them are kind of tech related things. Nairi Clark's going to talk about culturally responsive teaching. And that's something that I am fascinated by and really want to learn more about. And she did a really great presentation at Q related to culturally responsive lesson design. And, the kind of curriculum nerd in me, the instructional geek is super curious to see, how all of that fits. And I'm still, trying to kind of wrap my brain around all of that. So, I think that's going to be a really interesting one. I've done about 4 of the interviews so far, and I've got 5 of them left to record before the summit starts in 11 days. So I've still got some time.
Fine.
Yeah, plenty of time.
I got a question that plays off of Stephanie's, Matt. So in putting this together, and you've done it for a number of years, like you said, who would be maybe the unicorn presenter, somebody who you would love to come that is like your top of the list? Like, I would love for this person to come and talk to teachers and do one of these sessions that you haven't gotten yet.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I do try to reach out to some of those people, and some of them I've gotten a couple of them. Like some of the bigger ones that I was excited to talk to was like, I got Austin Kleon, who's the author of, Show Your Work and Steal Like an Artist. And I love all of his books. When I did a summit through, in conjunction with Q, we were able to get Brad Montague, Soul Pancake, co-creator of Kid President. And so that was really cool. So there's been a handful of some bigger ones, but, there's a couple of them, and I sort of struggle with this too. I'm curious to see, if anybody's got any ideas in the comments, like if I'm doing an online conference for teachers and I could swing big, swing for the fences, like who should I get? And see, I sometimes I don't allow myself to think big enough on that stuff, but, I will tell you a couple of them that I've actually reached out to. I reached out to Cal Newport, who is the author of Digital Minimalism. His book is really, really interesting as far as what our technology is doing to us and how we can kind of like regain control of it. I actually reached out to Angela Duckworth, who wrote, Grit, and all of her research related to that. I reached out to her at one point, and they all very graciously declined. I think I even asked Seth Godin one time. Seth Godin, author of many books related to, marketing and the sharing of ideas and stuff. He's got strong feelings about education too. And I actually got an email back from him. Reached out to Dan Pink once and got a no thanks email from him too. Like, my rejection email list is getting kind of better and better the longer that I do this. But yeah. I'm with Cam Ross on this. He's like, hey, let's get this Chris Nessie guy.
I'm not a unicorn. I'm a donkey with wings taped to his back. But I would answer the email. I'm just saying. I'd answer the email.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Well, how about the two of you? Like, if you were, running something like this, or if you were helping me to, to put together a list or something, who are some of the big names that you would go for?
I would say, and AJ knows where I'd be going with this because we're on the same page. I would love to see Gary Vaynerchuk do an education conference.
Yeah, that would be super interesting. See, what I love about what I love about him is that, he's real big in the entrepreneurship world. But a big part of his story, I've listened to his podcasts and stuff for a long time. And a big part of his story is that he was not good at school and he did not like school. And he's become like an enormous success in business and has done it his own way. And I think that would be fantastic. I would have to keep I would have to get into the editing and keep the bleep button ready to go, because he doesn't pull punches on the words.
That's part of the charm, but I do understand that. But yeah, he would be, he'd be my white knight unicorn to get in keynote or just lead a small session,
Man, yeah, that would be a good one.
Steph, what about you?
Steph? Yeah.
I think mine would be Hattie.
Oh, John Hattie. Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
I don't know if he would come on. But I think it'd be really interesting just to hear his mind speak out loud.
Yeah. I agree. Why have I not thought to try to get John Hattie? I mean, what's the worst thing he's going to say? Oh, AJ, Dr. Jill Biden, our educator in chief, almost, like our educator living in the White House. That would be fantastic.
I saw her tweet something, maybe it was last week, 2 weeks ago. And she was like, it was education related. And I said, I replied, never going to get an answer, but I replied, could you be first lady, still teach college? Could you also be the commissioner of education?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah. That would, yeah. So those are definitely some good ones. And, you know, I mean, you could very easily go back through, you know, since we're kind of talking about ISTE here, you could go back through some of the ISTE keynotes, and there have been some, you know, some pretty good ones. There's some that I probably wouldn't have picked, or some that, you know, after the keynote was over, I was like, yeah, it was just, that was kind of okay. But I mean, there have been a handful of them that I really liked. And, you know, so you could certainly go back and try to get some of those too, I think. So,
Chris, what have you thought of the keynotes being virtual?
I mean, it's no different. I mean, certainly there's more value to be in the room and to, you know, feed off of the energy of the speaker and their ideas and their perspective. And certainly how they deliver a keynote would be much different in a room with a few thousand people. But I mean, the messages are always there. I really enjoyed, you know, the opening keynote and, you know, hearing, you know, the three voices, you know, having had Megan on my show previously, and then on Sunday night, get Quentin Lee and I can't think of her first name. The other woman. I apologize. But, you know, they came on and they spoke. Again, there've been a lot of people on here this week. So, but, you know, all good stuff.
Yeah. One thing that has kind of made me sad, I mean, you know, lots of things have made us sad in the pandemic times and everything, but, you know, when it comes to taking events virtual, sometimes with really dynamic speakers. I know it's super easy for people to throw the word dynamic in front of the word speaker, dynamic speaker. But to me, you know, dynamic means like prone to change, like there's a lot going on. And so to me, a dynamic speaker is someone who uses the whole stage, who, you know, uses their arms, uses the intonation of their voice, uses their facial gestures and, you know, potentially props and like all of that stuff. And it becomes like a whole experience. And that's kind of the sad thing for me, is that I've seen a lot of people who do keynotes or that do presentations like that, it ends up looking like this, you know, head and shoulders directly to the camera, sitting at their desk, and you lose so much energy like that, you know. You know, I've done a handful of virtual keynotes, and I'm like, I can't do it. So I set up a USB mic like on my stairs, and it's aiming at a blank wall in my living room, and so I've got you know, kind of like a USB. Wait, I meant a USB webcam. You probably knew what I was saying. But I've got a little lapel mic that connects to my computer. So I get up and I just kind of like, you know, pretend like I'm on stage and everything. And I'm like, I'm one of those people where if I couldn't use my hands, I wouldn't be able to talk. So I love whenever people, you know, go big and are willing to, you know, not just sit at their desk and talk. Although all I'm doing right now is sitting at my desk and talking.
It wasn't a keynote, but it was a session. I forget his last name, but his first name's George. I don't know. He used Snap Camera. Oh, yeah? With his presentation. So, like, as his presentation was going, he became an octopus because he was talking about whatever. So that was a really cool presentation that I was able to witness. I think it was on Global GG's channel. But it was really cool, just like how you could use technology to engage with your audience. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a comment that just popped up from Shannon. She says that's been the challenge for educators who are teaching virtually as well. Amen to that. And yeah, Cam agreed with that. Like, you know, that's been one of the things that has impressed me the most, is that, you know, educators by and large have been so creative and thoughtful in how they've shifted. Now, you know, not everybody is that way. And Shannon, again, kids feed off that energy. Yep. I totally agree with you. And, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have like high production value. Like I saw pretty soon into the pandemic, I saw a tweet and there was a guy, I can't remember what country he was from. It was, you know, it wasn't in the United States. And he was in the middle of a big round and there were like 40 monitors around him. And each one of the kids was on a different monitor. And so here he is in the center. And you see all of these tweets and people are like, oh, that's so innovative. Oh, I wish that my kids were involved in that. And all I could think was, there's a teacher-centered classroom, you know? I don't want to, I don't want to make this like a negative thing about people who are trying to make it in the pandemic, because I've seen some ones that have not been, you know, focusing on themselves and have really provided for those kids in a big, big way.
But yeah, that's the cool thing is a lot of times it's not the power of the tech and the tools that you have in front of you. It's the power of how you use this to deploy the whole thing, which is really, the juice behind all of educational technology anyway. It's no different when it comes to virtual learning. And so, when people make learning go on in, really creative, innovative ways, with limitations in their technology, those are the people that I'm just like, I tip my cap to you. You're my hero.
And just the amount of sharing on social media right now. It was there before, but it's crazy. People are like, here, take this lesson plan. Here, take this Jamboard template. My drive is, if Google starts charging for storage, I'm screwed.
Yeah, you and me both.
As long as it's not pictures, but that's a show for another day.
Oh, that is a show for another day. I'm very sad about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Oh, poor Google. That's why they got to take our money. Poor Google, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
So we've got about 5 minutes left or so, and this is about the time we start to say goodbye to all the company. So let me just say thank you to everybody in the chat who came out tonight. It's nice to have an audience and not feel like I do sometimes during the day where I'm just talking to nobody, but that's virtual teaching. But, we're trying. So thank you to everybody who's come out in the chat, leaving their comments, sharing on social media. Stephanie Howell, thank you for hopping aboard. I know I was a pain in the neck most of the week saying, hey, you should come on. And Matt, thank you so much for taking some time tonight. I know you got other things going on, and for you to take time, I'm very, very appreciative. Thank you so much.
Yep, my pleasure.
Matt, it's just a formality, but anybody here knows who you are and how to connect with you. But for people who teach under a rock, how can they connect with Matt Miller and continue to learn from you?
Oh, yeah. Best place to go is ditchthattextbook.com. If you want to follow me on social media, that's the place to find all of that stuff. I'm constantly writing blog posts and putting things up, like downloadable templates and just all sorts of things that you can use in class there at the website. In fact, if people go to ditchthattextbook.com/101, you can get the 3 free ebooks that I make available on my site, and that signs you up for my email newsletter where, I share out all of the new stuff that we're publishing on a regular basis. That's where you might have heard of the Ditch Summit is in that email newsletter. So those are probably the best ones to give. So, and thank you for prompting me on that.
No problem. Stephanie, how can people connect with you and continue the conversation from you?
Probably Twitter's the best way, and it's at Mrs. Howell24. So feel free to DM me or follow me on there. I look forward to connecting.
Excellent. And again, the bit.ly that you shared to your community notes for ISTE, they will be in the description for this episode. So swipe left or right or up or down on your podcatcher, and you'll be able to get that link. And if you go follow her, she's sharing great stuff every single day. And Steph, you're big on TikTok too?
She's on TikTok. No.
Oh.
I tried it for a week.
Oh, you gave up? I love TikTok. At CJ Nessie, my friends. At CJ Nessie.
We can't do it all.
Yeah, that's me too. Can't do it all, and I just haven't gotten there yet. Maybe one of these days, I don't know. But yeah, me neither.
Oh, you both would crush it on TikTok. You don't even have to dance.
I know. No, I
thought you had to dance.
No,
they were pretty popular, some of my videos, and I was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Like on Twitter, I can schedule things.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you can on TikTok unless there's something I don't know.
You could pre-record stuff and then you can upload it later so you can perfect it, But that's an episode for another day as we got about 60 seconds left.
Yeah. So just in case you don't have anything to do, Steph,
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot of good holiday recipes on TikTok. So if nothing else, you can learn how to cook. And if you know me, you know I need that help. So thanks everybody for listening. I will be back tomorrow night for day 6 of ISTE recap. So come on back out to chrisnessie.com/live. If you're not already subscribed to the House of EdTech podcast, go to chrisnessie.com/go. And also go to edupodcastnetwork.com, subscribe to Stephanie's podcast, subscribe to the Google Teacher podcast, subscribe to the Ditch That Textbook podcast, and just have us all the time with you in your pockets. Wave goodbye, everybody.